Way
to start it.
Oh. Cave Sports, welcome back. We are done with week one. It was a great week one of football. We are back with our panel. We have Too Legit to Quit Naro, Zach, Feel the Burn, and I'm going to give Francis a new nickname every week. Today we're going with Fortune Forecaster Francis.
Let's go, baby.
There you go. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to run it down. So obviously week one, the biggest news is Aaron Rodgers. No one expected that. All the hype from Hard Knocks, thinking that this is going to be the team to beat. Easy Super Bowl win. Who knows? But let's talk about it. Naro, I wanted to get your insight. What you think is going to happen with the Jets here? I think if I'm Zach Wilson, I'm going to take this opportunity because it seemed like he was ready for the bench, and now he's like, oh, shit, I'm starting this year.
I mean, you got to. So let me just real quick, let's just go over some statistics real quick, right? Okay. One attempted pass, one sack, rating 39.6, quarterback rating at 2.6. That's just Aaron Rodgers' stats for yesterday.
Right.
Anyway, so.
Cold-blooded.
I mean, that's his highlight reel right here. So, God, it kind of sucks for the Jets. They went out and did all of this to build a team around Rodgers, and then he goes ahead and snaps that Achilles right to start the game. This is what I was thinking this entire time as this happened to Rodgers. This is a Roethlisberger tears his elbow, right? A lot of people are speculating, hey, is Rodgers going to be retiring? I don't see that happening, but I see it coming to an end very soon. If I'm Zach Wilson, I take this entire year to do everything I can to show out. Last year, you kind of, pooped the bed a little bit. This year could be the year. He has one of a Hall of Fame quarterback. Some people argue top 2, top 3, top 5 of all time on his shoulder. So if I'm Wilson, I'm taking this year to show out because that is someone that can sit there and give me advice throughout the whole year. I say Aaron Rodgers comes back next year. He's got maybe 2-3 seasons left, just like Ben did, while they're trying to get another quarterback in here to kind of replace him. That's what I'm seeing.
Right. So I think that they're still pretty much in this season. I think we can all agree on that. That defense is still pretty fucking good. And, if anything, Zach Wilson can finally show that what he learned from Aaron Rodgers, because we saw that mentorship in Hard Knocks and how he was really just being a sponge and soaking it all up. So, Zach, I want to see on the other side of, yes, everyone's going to be so caught up where Aaron Rodgers is gone. Do you think their season is over?
The Jets? No. Yeah. I think that their Super Bowl aspirations are over. I think they will make some noise. I think they'll end up making the playoffs because I think Zach Wilson will do just enough. And then getting Breece Hall healthy, Breece Hall looked great. The rest of the team looked great. Coming back and responding from that injury to win that game against a division rival at home in the largest viewed Monday Night Football game, that speaks volumes, to be honest. And shout out to the Jets. Like, lost in the shuffle was that they won that game. We can't overlook that. Just because Aaron Rodgers went down, and probably has the most impactful injury in all of sports. So, I think they're still a playoff team, but Super Bowl contender, I think that's out the window.
Okay. Now, obviously, I want to go with Francis. He's pretty much the Cave Sports pick guy over here. So, with Aaron Rodgers out, do you feel like there's going to be a lot of underdog opportunities now for the Jets, or is it going to be more of the same?
Yeah, I do want to point out first all the future bettors. I want to say a prayer for anybody who bet on a Super Bowl future on the Jets. I mean, the odds on them, they're one of the favorites. They started off the season. I think I was checking the lines. They were like plus 800 before the season started. So they're up there with like the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Niners, like the Bengals there. So a lot of hype around them. because their defense speaks volumes, and you add a quarterback, which they needed, they're going to be up there. And the swing went from that to plus 2,000. So that turnaround is comparable to the Patriots 2008 season when Tom Brady went down game 1 with the ACL tear. I think they were like plus 600 to win it all. Went automatically to like plus 3,000 or something like that. So with that being said, I do believe they will be in a lot of underdog situations. We'll get to that when we get to the picks. I'm picking them this week, but you might see them in a couple, depending on the matchups, they're going to be the underdog. So I do like them depending on how large the spread is. I will be studying the Jets in particular because I think the odds makers in Vegas, they might be, depending on how the Jets do, right? This next game, the line is like -9 in favor of the Cowboys, but I think that with the Jets defense, it can keep them in close games. So it just depends on what the line is. But yeah, a lot of underdog situations, especially in the AFC East when they play the Dolphins. I'm not sure. I forget what their schedule exactly is like, but for sure Dolphins. And when they play the Bills in Buffalo, they're going to be an underdog for sure. So
got it.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Well, like you heard from Francis, he said hopefully you didn't bet the whole farm on a Super Bowl win for the Jets. But if you did, stick around because we're going to go over some picks to help you maybe recuperate whatever you put on that. But speaking of the Dolphins, we had a great game aside from the drama and the downer of Aaron Rodgers' injury. There was a lot of excitement for week 1, and one of them was my personal favorite for the week is the Dolphins-Chargers matchup. It was a shootout. It came down to the wire, gunslinging all over the field. It was great. I mean, it was everyone's obviously talking about Tyreek, and I feel like no one's really talking about Jalen Waddle. So, Zach, I know you like to talk about your Chargers, so I'm going to pick you on this one. Is there anything that you saw did you see this coming? Because for a lot of people, it seemed like Chargers supposed to take this home, but Dolphins came in and stole the show.
Yeah, so this was kind of, what I expected to happen last year when they met up in Sunday Night Football. That ended up being a blowout win for the Chargers, defensive clinic for them as well. But I think, Tua was kind of banged up, and it was later in the season. The teams weren't fresh. This was a worry that I had, but for that being said about them being banged up, the Chargers were also banged up. They didn't have J.C. Jackson last year, this game. It's a shame that this wasn't Sunday Night Football again because this one deserved the spotlight of being primetime. Just absolute slugfest between two high-powered offenses. You really saw Kellen Moore get in his bag, especially in the running game with this Chargers offense. And they matched punch for punch with the Dolphins, hung with them, which is not something that you could have said the last couple of years when Lombardi was the OC. And they'd kind of have to rely on their defense to make a play to generate the offense. But all that being said, man, this Miami offense is special. When you have a guy like Tyreek Hill and a quarterback like Tua who can make those throws, like the anticipation that he had for Tyreek to get open was incredible. He was making the throws that he wasn't able to make last year. You could tell that the rest in the offseason paid dividends for him. Another year in McDaniel's offense. And, I think Waddle was a little banged up. He didn't make that big of an impact in this game. He had a couple catches. I think Berrios actually might have had a better game than Waddle when you look at the conversions.
I think Waddle
that they
had about 78
down.
yards.
Did he? He had like 4 catches, right? So he got in some open spaces. The same thing. They were able to take advantage of the man-to-man coverage that Staley was throwing at him. I think I saw something like Tyreek had 140 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns against man-to-man in that game. That J.C. Jackson penalty at the end of the first half, it gifted the Dolphins with 3 points going into halftime, and the Chargers lost by 2. So that was a big swing of momentum in that game that was felt throughout the stadium. And his J.C. Jackson had an interception later in the game, and he ran it out and went out of bounds at the 5-yard line. Kind of threw off the field position battle that the Chargers were winning at the time. But yeah, man, this game was incredible. This is one of the better Week 1 games you could have asked for. The excitement in the place was electric, no pun intended. Really got to see Kellen Moore shine offensively, and now it's just on Staley and his defense to tighten it up, because this offense is Super Bowl caliber in my opinion. The defense needs to pick it up.
Definitely.
And with the Dolphins too, like, they need to pick up the running game defense, because they had some holes, and Eckler and Josh Kelly took advantage of it all game. So hell of a game though.
All right, so Naro and Francis, I want to ask you guys, do you think that the Dolphins are for real now? Because there was a lot of expectations last season. Obviously we know what happened to Tua not being able to stay healthy and whatnot. Now they come in game 1, put up a game like this. Do you guys believe this is what we were expecting last season, or was this just something that is going to be hot and cold all season?
I'll be upfront with you. I was not expecting this last season.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those people who just didn't believe in Tua.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think that he had it in him. This game was obviously showed differently. So Tua took up my throw a lot, apparently. So he's some crazy offense that I would love to see continue to roll. I think they're a legit team. I think that the offenses now had time to gel with each other and kind of make things fit correctly. Listen, that was Tua's, that was the third most yards ever in a Week 1 throwing or quarterback, and I think Tyreek was the second most yards out of a Week 1 showing. So I mean that offense is scary. Now they do need to. With this game, you could tell that the offenses on both sides were really strong. Mm-hmm. You can also tell that the defenses had a little lackluster that they needed to figure out. The Chargers have had issues with the defense for a little bit. The Dolphins have been in and out with their defense. So if they can figure out how to, especially Dolphins, kind of figure out how they're going to get that run game under control. If they can get that run game under control, I think that the Dolphins have a shot to go deep in the playoffs. I don't see them making the Super Bowl. It's possible, but I don't have them in Super Bowl contentions. But I could see them at least getting to the second week of the playoffs and putting up a good fight to whoever they're working with. This is a good team now. I'm excited for Dolphins fans to finally have some joy, because they've had a tough 2000s, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, I'm with Naro too. Like before, just real quick, I didn't think the Dolphins would be this good last year. I with Tyreek Hill even going, I didn't really think Tua was going to do much, but he proved a lot of people wrong. So everything now is just beyond my expectations. I do think they're for real. I don't know if they can contend with some of the more higher octane defenses that can be a little more stout and pressure up a little bit more. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was only Week 1, but it's a real snippet of what they're capable of. So yeah, it's going to be good.
All right.
I definitely think that this week I definitely think this week for both of these teams, the matchups that they have in Week 2, I think that they could be really crucial in applying more context to what we think these teams can be. Miami's, I think they're going to New England to play. Or they're playing New England, and New England has a pretty stout defense. Definitely a little bit a little bit more stouter than what the Chargers have shown the last few games. And on the flip side, the Chargers get to go to Tennessee and see if they can take advantage of a team that looks like they're kind of reeling this year, and might have a tough year over there in Tennessee as they're going through some changes, it seems like. But I think we're going to learn a lot about both these teams and our areas of concern that we have for them right now. Because, like I said, those offenses on both sides, Super Bowl caliber for sure. Defenses, if they can tighten it up, they're going to be contenders. And when you have the Jets that might have just fallen out of contention, opens up a space, for maybe one of these teams. And hopefully these guys are licking their lips now and thinking they have slighter chance to make the playoffs and make a run.
Definitely. So next, we got the Browns and the Bengals. Little Ohio matchup, Cleveland versus Cincinnati. I really thought I didn't think the Browns were going to win this game. I know they're going to keep it close. I thought they were going to keep it close. But it was proven otherwise. Nara, what did you think about this game?
Being an AFC North guy of the Steelers all day, every day, I saw nothing coming from the Browns. I'll be honest with you. The Browns flop all the time. So I didn't see the Browns doing anything. This was a big shocker to me. I don't know if this was because the Bengals fell on their faces or if the Browns really got a squad. Like, I don't know what's going on here, but the whole AFC North is looking a little uncomfortable right now. Not happy about it. Party territory for me.
Yeah.
But listen, it's a really good game. Battle of Ohio, one of two this season. I don't think that this is going to hurt the Bengals much. I think that the Bengals lost last year to the Steelers in week 1. So I don't think that this is going to hurt them much. I don't know if this means that the Browns are a good team. It's hard to tell week 1. Listen, divisional games, as everybody knows, are different stories. So we'll kind of see. The Browns got to deal with the Steelers next week, another divisional game. So I really, it's hard. It's hard for me to say anything about this. So upside down, it kind of throw me off.
No, for sure, man. I mean, I feel like, to your point, the Bengals are just a little shaky. I think Burrow was injured during training camp. He didn't probably get a lot of reps in. So I think that has something to do with it. I have T. Higgins in one of my fantasy leagues. He drew 8 targets. He got a fucking donut. So when I see that, I was watching some of the clips of the game. I think, Cleveland played really good defense. I'm not knocking Cleveland's defense, but there's a couple plays where T. Higgins and Joe Burrow were just a little off on the routes. The timing is not there quite. So that's something to take note of. I do agree with you, Nara. I don't think this hurts the Bengals' chances. I think they're still, one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. So we'll keep it simple. But yeah, Deshaun Watson's back. So, he looked good. He looked good.
Of his early Texans years. That's wild.
Yeah.
Here's my question, Zach. I want to see if you got some insight on this. There was a lot of speculation on Burrow coming back week 1, or Jamar Chase's comment, "Hey, I'd rather him sit for a couple of weeks and come back healthy week 4 or 5." Do you think that this Burrow affected any of this, or do you think it was just a whole team effort?
It felt like a whole offensive effort, to be honest with you. They just struggled, period. Cleveland came to play. Cleveland came to play spoiler in this game. I don't think you can really sit your quarterback. I mean, I know it's week 1, but it's a divisional game, and you want to win those no matter what. You know what I'm saying? So I see what Jamar was getting at, but these are the games that you have to win because they play, a big part in the season down the road too. So, but in terms of whose fault it was just one of those games that you just show up and you can't, you just don't have it that day, and you're playing against a team that wants it more than you, and you just got to make the adjustment and make sure it doesn't happen again, where you're the team that wants it more, like they usually do, because this was a very uncharacteristic Bengals loss. They got dominated. So, you just flush it, and you learn from it first, and you flush it, and then you get back on track next week.
All right. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties, but I'm back in it, and you can see right here. Look at that hit. I think that's just how what represents exactly what Burrow was going through that whole fucking game. It was a shocker for me to see that, but you know, a lot of people will talk about Deshaun Watson, but in my opinion, he didn't do all that great either. It's just, you know, it was a great game to see the Browns win, but it's not like his stats were any great. But moving on, we have the Cowboys and the Giants. Now, we didn't expect this to be a shutout, and our cave member CD's nuts on the Fantasy Football League. I know he's happy. I gave him his first loss, so he can still be happy because his Cowboys won. But now I want to ask you guys in here, is this finally the Cowboys' year, or is it just another fluke?
Hell no. Listen, I mean, from the last segment, Naro was talking about AFC North. This is the NFC East. I'm an Eagles fan all day.
Right, of course.
I'm not saying that Cowboys suck. They made a lot of improvements on their defense, especially their secondary. I think they added Stephon Gilmore from the Colts, so that's going to put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. But I don't know. The Giants just never. Their defense is all right, but this game obviously wasn't all right. It was terrible, and then Danny Dimes couldn't do shit. I know Zach picked the Giants to win NFC East, so I don't think, based on this game, I don't think that's a good pick anymore. But
we've seen crazy things happen.
Our picks.
Yes. But I mean, the Cowboys are going to be the Cowboys. I feel like until Zach, when we did the Week 1 preview, until you can prove you prove it, then you're going to be the same. So, like the Chiefs, and I don't think anyone's taking down the Chiefs in the AFC West until someone can prove it. I don't think the Cowboys can. We can talk much about the Cowboys until they make at least the NFC Conference Championship. So, take that 40-0 win, Cowboy fans. But I still think y'all not going to do shit this year.
I mean, realistically, if you look at what happened, it wasn't like they did too much. Like, it was really... Listen, congratulations on a great win, but it was their defense who did most of the work.
Yeah.
Dak only had, 142 passing yards, 0 throwing touchdowns. Pollard and company did most of the work there on offense. So I think that you got the Cowboys beating up on a struggling Giants defense. And they're, again, exactly like Francis said, they gotta prove something. They gotta, because let's be realistic. Every year we hear the Cowboys say, "This is year." Every year. So let's see him prove it. Okay, that's what I want.
Right. What about you, Zach? What do you think?
So, not to be contrarian or anything, but I was actually pretty impressed by the Cowboys' effort in this game. I know it was just Week 1, but they were firing on the cylinders that I didn't think they were going to. Special teams and defense looked stout for sure. Offense, we didn't see enough of, but because the other two sides of the ball, or the other two components of the team, were showing out. So I'm not, gonna take the Dak's performance against them and slide him for it. However, we didn't see the offense, so we really don't know exactly how good or bad that they are. But yes, to piggyback on our picks last year, my Super Bowl champion lost, and I think my AFC East champion lost. My NFC East champion lost. So yeah, those futures not looking so bright. But hey, it's only Week 1, right? We got 17 more weeks to do this, and it's going to be fun. So
exactly.
But the Cowboys did impress me, but not enough to think differently about where they're going to finish at the end of the season.
Right. And I share that sentiment too. I mean, as much as we like to rag on the Cowboys, I'll give credit where it's due. They played a hell of a game, and hopefully this is something we could see more of from them, and their fans can actually be happy about it. But we'll see about it, right?
They always do this Week 1, though.
Exactly, right?
Right?
But other than that, aside from that, there's plenty of other games. I just wanted to run down the results with you guys. Zach, do you have those on you that you want to run through? Any games you wanted to point out?
There were quite a few games that were taking place throughout the week or throughout Sunday that I was shocked at who was winning at the time.
Right.
I think we had their win week 1. Packers throttled the Bears. Everyone was all about the Bears. Packers throttled them. Raiders Broncos was a close, ugly game like it always is. But just to spotlight one game in particular where I feel like you really got to see excellence at its peak in week 1. All 3 sides of the ball clicking, offense looking terrific, defense looking terrific, special teams. I think the San Francisco 49ers going to Pittsburgh and just absolutely laying it down was super impressive. Only favored by 2. Little disrespectful that they were only favored by 2, and they're like, no, we're going to win by 23. So I think that was my personal most impressive performance. All gimmick aside, though, and I know Naro being a Steelers fan and obviously me being a Niners fan, but like all that aside, I did not see that coming, to be honest with you. I was a little worried going into Pittsburgh, to be honest. So to follow that score and see Brandon Ayuk, who I think I left on my bench in a couple leagues, go off. And then there was one play, I think it was the Christian McCaffrey touchdown. If you go back and look at that play, you had Ayuk and McLeod running downfield with Christian and setting up the blocks to put Christian in the end zone and give him the path and the push. Like that's the kind of thing that you want to see week 1 from a championship caliber team, and like that's going to be something that I feel like that team's going to rally around. It's going to definitely bring up that level of confidence offensively for everyone to do more of what they're asked to do, because receivers blocking like that you don't see often at the pro level. So for me, that Niners Steelers game was impressive for a couple different reasons.
Definitely. Yeah, we had a great week 1. It was exciting to watch, and I'm ready for week 2. But before we can get there, we should talk about our Cave Sports Fantasy Football League. A lot of good ones there, and CD's nuts we like to make fun of, and Francis loves to give him shit for his 2016 of a team. So let's go ahead and go down the full results. Naro, I want you to go ahead and just run it down for us here.
All right, Full Chubb barely lost to Crumbling Herb. That looks like that was the oh no, my CD's nuts had
a little sibling rivalry in this one.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. Everyone did pretty decent except for me getting my butt whooped and Gordon getting his butt whooped. Other than that, it looks like they were close games. Gordon Bombay, Slime 5 Bucket, 131 to 152. CD's nuts losing by a couple to Californication, is that what that is?
Exactly. But my abbreviation is 4NC8 for fornicate.
Johnny Lance and team controller. Johnny Lance pulled out.
Clever.
And Jarrell's mask. Appreciate that one. Got me by. That was a tough week, I'd say. But I mean,
was.
This whole week 1 in the NFL was kind of a shocker to everybody. There was a lot of things off. So these fantasy, picks and drafts kind of got thrown all out, and we got to start from scratch. I mean,
gotta hit the waiver wires right now.
Yeah, that's where you make. That's where you stay in it. Sometimes your picks aren't going to keep you, and then you find out your fucking picks suck, and then there's a gem in there, and we're going to get to that. But before we get to that, I actually want to highlight Slime Bucket. This guy's team is crazy.
Yeah,
I've been watching his lineup.
Dog, he's auto drafted too. That's what pissed me off too.
Was that auto draft? Because
he was auto draft.
Oh my god, saved by the auto draft, huh?
Bruh.
Now we know the right?
This guy knows the hacks.
It's auto draft, and you're fine.
Oh man,
he had Tua and Tyreek, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. This guy was double stacking, but regardless, speaking of the waiver wire, Francis, anything that sticks out to you as far as gems that people are sleeping on right now?
Well, it's already Wednesday, so I think people
It's pretty much done.
Are pretty much done, but there's a couple people. Kyron Williams on the Rams speaks volumes. He got a lot. He out-touched Cam Akers by a whole lot. Puka Nakua, rookie wide receiver out of the Rams as well. He kind of, I kind of got him last week. But for anyone that has him on the waiver wire, so pick him up. He's able to separate from defenders a lot better than Van Jefferson. So take advantage while Cooper Kupp's out. We don't know when Cooper Kupp's coming back. Another guy I like is Zay Jones at the Jags. I think he's kind of taking over that wide receiver 2 spot versus Christian Kirk, but not for sure yet because Christian Kirk does have a good rapport with T-Law. Someone you might want to add still if you don't have Christian Kirk, just see how it goes throughout the season. And then one of the Baltimore situation is kind of up in the air. You want to get either Gus Edwards or Justice Hill, but there's a lot of rumblings saying that they're going to promote Melvin Gordon from the practice squad to the starting lineup, or they might pick up Kareem Hunt. So I wouldn't, if you're in an FAAB, if you're a fab, you got money, I wouldn't spend any money on Justice Hill or Gus Edwards right now. But if you're in one of those just regular waiver wire situations, it wouldn't hurt to pick them up and see where it goes and just leave them on the bench for a few weeks and see what the Ravens do. But those are some of mine off the top. Did you guys have anything, any players in mind that I missed?
I got one. He's a solid wide receiver 2 usually. But seeing how week 1 went, not many looks went Deebo Samuel's way. And Deebo was supposed to be coming into the season hot. Brandon Ayuk came in really hot this first game. So I'm not saying throw him in there yet because it could have just been some attention coming off of Deebo that was shifted to Ayuk. But pay attention to Ayuk for maybe the next week or so because he might be staying in that receiver 1 spot. For San Francisco. The other one that I would say just watch is your boy Pickens. Deontay Johnson's out for 3 to 4 weeks with a hamstring injury. Pickens is, I personally think, and not just because I'm a Steelers fan, I personally think that Pickens is the most talented receiver on the field currently for any team. Now, he's got some maybe route things and he's got to learn, obviously, but pay attention in the next couple of weeks because, and this is something that I've been thinking about for maybe the season, if Pickens can kind of grab hold, there might be a shift to wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 in Pittsburgh, so he might be a solid flex to kind of just keep in there.
Right.
Cool. I like that one.
Before moving on from this, Zach, do you have any must starts and your week 2 busts?
Oh, dude. Week 2 must starts. Brandon Ayuk, like Naro mentioned. He's probably a must start at this point. Although last year it seemed like if Ayuk wasn't having a good game, then it was Deebo's game. If Deebo wasn't having a good game, it was Ayuk's game. Like they kind of went back and forth. So I kind of expect a good Deebo performance this week, but you got to really invest in Ayuk. And you know, like I want to spotlight these kind of guys because like you're not gonna like it's so easy to be like start Stephon Diggs, start freaking Lamar Jackson at quarterback. Like that's easy stuff. But like these deeper dives are the ones I like to focus on. I've also been seeing, and this is kind of risky, but Mike Williams I feel like is going to be having a big game this weekend in Tennessee. He's another receiver that I would be on. I would put some eggs in the basket for a start. Running backs wise, pay attention to the injury reports. Kenneth Gainwell was already ruled out for Thursday. So I know it's kind of risky, but I'd probably go DeAndre Swift this week in a pinch if you're needing to start a running back.
Great pick.
Tight end is a crapshoot. Not going to touch tight end yet. Need a couple more weeks to figure that one out. And then quarterback, you're starting Tua. I mean, he probably wasn't drafted as a starter, but quarterback, you're starting him as long as he's healthy. So those are a couple guys that I'm probably going to be putting a lot of stock in for week 2.
Oh, yeah. Those. I mean, you can't go wrong with those good names. But like what Francis was touching on with Melvin Gordon coming on, I'm going to tell you right now, don't pick him up because he doesn't know how to hold on to a fucking football. But so he's, even if they bring him up, it's probably going to be for nothing special. It's just really insurance at this point. So sorry, Naro, did you have something to say? Did I cut you off on that?
I was also going to say, kind of keep an eye out on Shaheed over at the Saints.
Oh yeah.
He had a really decent week 1. Derek Carr is looking beautiful over in the Saints. I loved the football throw at the end of the game. Kind of proved his little FU to the Raiders organization. Still got it. Loved that. But Shaheed, kind of pay attention to him. Michael Thomas and
Olave.
Olave are over there too, but Shaheed kind of showed out this week. So I'm not saying go ahead and start him. I'm not saying go ahead and throw him in the flex yet because you do have Olave, you do have Michael Thomas. But hey, keep an eye on it.
Definitely worth a bench spot at least.
Yeah,
So with the fantasy football league all covered up, we're gonna move on and talk about week 2. Obviously tomorrow. Was it the Vikings Eagles or tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
That's who's facing off tomorrow. So Francis, since it's your Eagles, I'd like you to just go ahead and give us a rundown on how you see that game playing out. Give us the honors.
Oh, you already know. I'm doing. I'm already going Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles on this one. Prime time, first game, home opener. I mean, if no one believed in Kirk Cousins, I mean, it should be even more so now. Kirk Cousins lost to the Bucks last week. He had like 2 fumbles and like 2 interceptions against the Bucks defense. That's still pretty decent. But then now they're going against the Eagles defense, who is like top 3-4 defense. I don't see Vikings, keeping up at all in this game. I think Jalen Hurts Eagles had a really ugly game last week, but they played against a stout Patriots defense in Foxborough. They were able to grind one out. They made some mistakes, but you learn from it and you move on. And I think it's gonna be a blowout, to be honest. But who knows, man? I thought the Niners were gonna keep it close, and they blew out the Steelers. I thought Browns were gonna lose by like 1 point. They won. So who fucking knows? If the Eagles lose by 20 tomorrow, then I wouldn't be surprised anymore at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it from an Eagles fan, so
Yeah. I don't see it happening, but I won't be surprised because NFL is weird. Any given Sunday, in this case, it's any given Thursday.
right. So.
But Kirk Cousins is not a real starting quarterback.
Wait, say that again?
Yeah, you gotta say that again.
Kirk Cousins is not a real starting quarterback. Don't ever rely on the man for anything. He loses prime time like it's his job.
Yes, that's
So-
facts. I watched Quarterback on Netflix, and I kind of have a soft spot for him now. Just to I want him to do okay, but not this Thursday. Nah, he's gonna get sacked a lot of times.
Well, so speaking of week 2, I wanted to run down that schedule. Sorry, I want to run down that schedule. Naro, do we have that schedule up that you can run it down for us? Do we have a slide for that?
Oh, of course I got it pulled up. All right, so week 2, we got tomorrow Vikings and Eagles. We already got our there. Sunday, depending on where you are, could be morning game and or 1 o'clock game. You got another AFC North matchup: Ravens Bengals, Hawks versus Lions, Colts Texans. There's a really uneventful game. Bears Bucks. My bad. Chiefs Jags, that'll be a fun game to watch, guys. I'm telling you, watch that game. Packers Falcons, Raiders Bills, those are all your morning/1 p.m. games. Chargers Titans, Niners Rams, that'll be a fun game to watch. Giants Cardinals, that will be an uneventful game. Don't watch that one.
Appreciate the honesty.
And then you got the Commanders versus Broncos.
Redskins.
Yeah.
What is, guys? There's
The John Redcorns.
There you go. Dolphins Patriots Sunday Night Football, and this week, guys, there is 2 Monday Night Football games. So Steelers and Browns Steelers. Steelers are good in prime time.
That's gonna be a good one.
There you go.
Honestly,
There you go.
Now, aside from obviously, Naro telling you what games not to watch, any must-watch games for you, Zach?
Honestly, for week 2, I'm looking forward to see how the Jets respond against the Cowboys. Personally, Chiefs Jaguars seems to be the game of the week for me. Very interested to see how that goes. Ravens Bengals will be another solid AFC slugfest, like Naro said. So, those are probably the 3 I'm going to highlight today, or this Sunday. But Dolphins Patriots should be fun in Foxborough Sunday Night Football. But good games on the schedule to look out for.
Nice. Yeah, I think I agree. Those were the kind of games I wanted to circle in and try and catch. Francis, any potential upsets you're kind of hoping would happen in this week?
I really think the Jets have a chance to upset the Cowboys in Dallas. I mean, I don't know if they'll win, but the line is at 9 for the Cowboys, and I think the Jets, coming off a great win, and I think they just have a chip on their shoulder even more now. Like all this hype around them, now they lose their quarterback, everyone's counting them out. I think they're gonna come into Dallas and spank the Cowboys. That's my opinion. That's a potential upset that I see. Besides that, I don't really see any other. The lines of this week are actually very close, like almost top to bottom. I mean, Bears, Bucks are close. The Packers, Falcons is a close. They're like -1. Colts, Texans is, I don't even know. I think that's a pick'em line. Chiefs, Jags are obviously. Yeah, that's really the only upset that I see potentially happening. I don't see Cardinals upsetting the Giants. I don't see the Titans upsetting the Chargers. And everything else is like a close game, and at least that's what Vegas has it at.
I personally just want to see how that Brown Steelers game is going to turn out, just because those games are always fun to watch, right? And Nara over here, you need that win, but let's see if Deshaun Watson really is the shit. But
I want to beat the absolute dog shit out of him.
Of course you do.
That was disgusting.
Right, of course. Now that week 2 is out of the way, I wanted to talk to Francis and give you the spotlight here and just talk about your picks and how you're coming in this week. Is there anything that you want to give our viewers? Just say, hey, this is what I'm looking at. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to be a little more selective nowadays. I had 3 years ago, I was kind of just happy-go-lucky. I didn't do much research, but now I'm looking into lines now, trying to do a little more homework. I talked about it already earlier in this segment, but the Jets, where the hell is going on? Sorry, guys. Yeah, Jets. I really like the Jets at +10. I think it's at 9.5 right now, so by the hook. I think they're going to keep it close. I wouldn't put money on the money line, but it would be fun if you want to sprinkle some action on there. But I think their defense is going to keep them close. I don't see Cowboys beating that stout defense by more than 10 points. So,
gotcha.
That's like my favorite one of the week. We also got Chargers. I like them. Chargers -2.5. I think the line's at 3, so by the hook, just in case they win by a field goal. I don't see the Titans keeping up with the Chargers at all. I think it's kind of disrespectful that the line is 2.5. I don't think the Titans have any answer for the Chargers offense. And I don't think the Titans offense is much of a show either. I mean, yes, they have D-Hop, but Tannehill had a lot of wide open looks last week that he completely missed or overthrew some of his receivers. So I don't see this being close at all, and I think Chargers take this one on the road. And you already know I got to end it Eagles -4.5. I think the line's at 6. I like to buy points personally. I like to drink the juice a little bit and get that. So it's at minus. I think the -4.5 line is at like -150. You got to bet like $30 to win 20, 150 to win 100, or whatever. Do the math, but I think that's a lock. So those are my 3 favorite picks. If you're into this is not on the slides, but if you like to do prop bets, I also like Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown. I think there's some juice on that too, but I think that's going to happen eventually. So yeah, those are my picks for the week. I hope you ride with me. I'm gonna do a better job by keeping myself accountable with this weekly show, guys. So we'll keep track of my records. I hope I do well for the viewers and the listeners. But yeah, I'm going to keep myself accountable and try to do more homework on these lines. That way we can try to make some money this NFL season and be in the green and not in the red.
Of course. Are there any games in particular you want to tell people to just avoid flat out so they don't even bother that game?
Yeah, do not bet on Colts and Texans. I mean, unless you're a Colts or Texas fan, there's no reason to bet on that game because you just don't know where it's gonna go. It could be a blowout, it could be close. I don't fucking know. Just there's no tell of what that line's gonna be. And I also want to stay away from what's the other line that I saw. Sorry guys, let me just pull up my line sheet real quick. Where is that? Yeah, I also want to stay away from the Cardinals-Giants game. I mean, Giants can possibly, it's a -5.5, but the over/under is 40. I could honestly see that game going over 40 and Giants coming back from having a turnaround, but after that horrible Cowboys loss, but it's also possible it goes under. And I don't like the line at 5.5. It was like, if it was Giants -2, I would say lean Giants, but I don't know. After that ugly loss, I can see them winning, but not by a lot. It's just stay away from those 2 games for sure.
All right. Yeah. Now for the people that are watching that are super into just the high risk, high reward, what is your high risk, high reward?
Oh, the high risk, high reward is my Rams. I think the Rams money line at home, I think they're riding the wave. Like I said, high risk, high reward. It's against the Niners. Who knows? I mean, Niners can come into LA and definitely whip that ass. But I think the Rams defense is still, mid-tier solid, and I feel like being at home gives them some type of leeway. Like I said, Zach is shaking his head. It's high risk, high reward, Zach. I'm not taking the Rams, but if you have a little money to sprinkle, your commission bonus came in and you got like $20 to spare, $30, $100, whatever money you're making
for the Rams. It's a home game for the Niners.
That is true.
I mean, but the thing is, the Rams have been playing in these environments for the last 4 years already. I don't think it matters to them. So, if anything, that gives Aaron Donald extra juice. I think everyone counted them out last week against the Seahawks. So I think the Rams can surprise, have the potential. High risk, high reward. That's what I would do if I had some extra cash to sprinkle on a high risk, high reward type of investment. But yeah.
Let me ask you, how do you see the Lions Seahawks?
Lions Seahawks, dude, I like that game. I'm leaning Lions on that one. I think the line. Let me see. The line on that one is Lions are -5 and they're at home. I think they're they're amped up. They beat the Chiefs home opener. I don't see, and they have extra rest. They had the Thursday game last week. Now they're extra rest going back to Detroit, and I don't see the Seahawks. I mean, the line might be a little too high. I mean, the spread might be a little too high for some people to want to bet on a week 2 matchup. So, if you want to throw Lions in a parlay, I think that's a guaranteed lock. If you want to do a parlay, But yeah, -5. I would lean it. I'm not picking them for sure because the Seahawks are still the Seahawks. They surprised a lot of people last year, but it's a real test to see if Geno Smith can come back after a tough loss against the Rams at home in Seattle and go back on the road. So I do like the Lions in that one, though, for sure.
Definitely going for the Lions in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for anyone else listening, that's your betting tips for week 2. Now, Francis, it's not financial advice, but
it's not financial advice. Play with money. Play with funny money. Play with money. You don't want to. If you plan on eating out, you don't feel like eating out. Put it on the Chargers.
Yep. Don't bet what you can't lose. I'm just gonna put it that way. So bet responsibly, please, but also have fun with it. It's not that serious. But
yeah, exactly.
Before we wrap this up, I actually just wanted to go ahead and do as we were joking around earlier, the quick hitters.
Quick hitters.
Where we're just gonna go down the week 2. We're gonna pick our winners, and we're gonna talk about it next week. See if we got that right, or an upset fucked that up for us, right? So let's put that schedule back up and let's run it down.
Oh, producer.
All right, let's run it down. Vikings, Eagles. Who you got, Naro?
That's an easy one. I got the Eagles.
Definitely. Eagles, I think, are the obvious choice here, right?
Yes, sir. Eagles.
I think it's just unanimous. I'm just going to answer for you guys, all Eagles, unless Zach is like Vikings.
No, he's not choosing the Vikings. Come on, Zach.
All right.
He's on another planet right now, so the transmission time is a little...
Yeah.
Bears, Buccaneers. That's who cares for that one, right? Who cares? I mean, unless you're a Baker Mayfield fan. Who you guys got going for that?
I actually got the Bears on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bears on that one too.
Bears. Yeah, Bears. I feel like the Buccaneers could win this because Baker Mayfield's he wants to shut everyone up. Everyone's calling him Johnny Manziel 2.0, right? So it's like, fuck that. I'm still in the league.
Nah, he's definitely better than Johnny. I can't stand that.
Yeah, he's better than Johnny Manziel. Put some respect on that, but it hasn't been that great for me. Ravens, Bengals. Is this Kevin McAllister, Joe Burrow's gonna come back, or we're gonna see?
This could be fun. Fun and tough game to watch. It's gonna be an AFC North thrashing. I got the Bengals coming out on top. I think they're gonna bounce back from last week for sure.
Definitely.
I'm gonna take the Ravens on this one. I still think this might be a 2-week thing for the Bengals to recover from, with Joe Burrow being out during training camp. But like I said earlier, they're gonna bounce back and be fine. But I think they're gonna start the season 0-2.
I got the Bengals taking this. I feel like just Joe Burrow's going to definitely want to come back from that. You can tell he's not happy with that result. They're supposed to beat the Browns, but hey, shit happens, right? Packers, Falcons.
Oh, I got the Smackers on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Smackers too. I think their defense is a lot more stout than the Falcons' defense. Both offenses are kind of whatever, so I'm going with the better defense.
Yeah. I'm going with Packers too. I think Jordan Love is definitely showing that he might be able to take that team further than I expected. I thought he was just going to be a bust and they're going to go through a quarterback search for the next few years, but Jordan Love might be a guy for them. So we'll see. Packers definitely over the Falcons. Colts at Texans.
I don't even want to care about
This is ugly.
Who cares?
I had 2 rookie quarterbacks. Colts, I guess.
I'm gonna go Texans because I thought they played a little bit better last week. So, but who fucking knows? It's 2 rookie quarterbacks.
I'm gonna take a nap during that game.
Yeah.
Whoever wins, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, oh, okay. Chiefs, Jaguars. This one could be a good one.
It's gonna be a good game.
I got if Kelsey's back, I got a bounce back on the Chiefs. If Kelsey is not back, I actually have the Jags taking this one.
Same. I agree with Naro. Yeah, if Kelsey's back, Chiefs for sure. He opens up their offense a lot. Their defense has to focus on that particular player, but when he's not on the field, it's a little more shaky for the offense. So yeah, I'm with Naro.
Yep. Definitely Chiefs are going to I think Chiefs will take that because you saw in week 1 how much Mahomes relies on Kelsey for those it's pretty much his security blanket. All those drop passes and you know in those instances he wished he could turn to Kelsey. So if Kelsey's back, I think it's Chiefs. They got that one in the bag. I'm sorry, did I cut you off, Naro?
Yeah, I heard Ocho was talking about coming back to out of retirement again. He needed a receiver.
Ocho, you gotta stop eating McDonald's first. Shit.
That is true. I mean, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen. If Ocho Cinco comes back, damn, maybe Randy Moss will come back. Chargers at Titans.
Chargers
just
I feel like that's an easy one to kind of roll in there. Chargers.
Now we've got the Raiders and the Bills. Who you taking, Naro?
God, the Bills have not been looking good through preseason and this game 1. They just have been looking a little shaky. I still give it to the Bills because they are a more developed team than the crappy ass Raiders.
Yeah.
But listen, if Jimmy G can keep that Raiders ugly, I don't know what's going on over there, but I don't know. Maybe the Raiders come out top, but I got Bills right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Bills on that one too.
Bills, definitely. Josh Allen, he's gonna have his comeback game. Everyone's kind of like, what the hell happened to Josh Allen? I said he's not done. That was just a terrible game, but definitely you're gonna see he's still an elite quarterback against the Raiders. Zach, who you have going on here?
I got Bills. I think they're gonna bounce back and beat the Raiders, and give a reality check to the Raiders as well. I know they're coming off the high against Denver, but Bills are going to take this one. They're going to right the ship.
Seahawks, Lions. We talked about this in the picks, and this one.
I got Detroit coming in on top. I know that the Seahawks aren't god awful. I like Geno Smith. I really hope that he does well, but I like the Lions head coach. I like they are starting to look okay. Yeah, it's not terrible.
Yeah, I like the Lions in this one too. That's an easy call for me.
Zach?
Yep. Lions at home.
Lions. I definitely have the Lions. I like the Lions. They've been that bottom team for years. I want to see them, be up there in the conversation. We're a respectable team. Like I wish Megatron was still playing, but
right
around this time, imagine if he was on this team. I think the Lions would be way up there at this point. But it's a different time now, and I think the Lions definitely have a pretty bright future, and I hope this season we get to see exactly where they're going with this team. 49ers, Rams. This is our high risk, high reward.
You already know I'm gonna go Rams just to piss off Zach right now.
Yeah, let's go Rams.
That's fine. You on your own.
No, listen, all seriousness, I think the Niners is gonna have to win the Niners for sure.
If I'm betting on the Rams, I'm picking the Rams.
Give me the Niners.
Yes. So, but if you're betting on the Rams, you better hope the Rams win. But if not, the Niners are taking that game for sure.
Yeah.
Giants at Cardinals. Oh, A-Town Project. What's up, Alan? Go Rams. I don't know about this. But yeah, Giants, Cardinals.
Josh Dobbs is going to win the psych. Oh, God. Not going to beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals are just not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm picking the Giants too.
Giants is the obvious pick here, but it's just like it's not a game to really be excited about, in my opinion. I'm not. Who cares? Yeah. Jets, Cowboys. I know we talked about this earlier. It would be great to see the Jets come in and say, "Yeah, we lost Aaron Rodgers, but we're still a great team without him." So I have the Jets going in there and winning that.
I'm picking the Jets too. Picking the Jets.
I think I'm going with the Cowgirls.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Give me the MILF Hunter and the Jets, baby.
Hey, let's go.
Benny and the Jets. I know, Aaron. I know you're probably watching. You're going to watch a recap. I already know who you pick in the Cowboys. So, Commanders, Broncos, go Broncos. I'm going with the Broncos on this one.
Broncos.
Obvious pick.
I'm gonna go Broncos. I'm gonna go Broncos too. I think the Commanders are okay, but this is gonna be an ugly game to watch too. Commanders' defense is pretty stout as well, but I don't think their offense is going to do much against the Broncos in Mile High Stadium.
Yeah.
Commanders.
Anything from you, Zach? Commanders.
Left hand up,
One
baby.
word.
Who are we? The Commanders.
Of course, you're going to go Commanders. Dolphins at Patriots. Dolphins.
I got Fins coming through with this one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
got the Spins.
Give me the Pat Riots.
Dolphins. Is
The Pat Riots.
or as my dad would call
Yeah,
it,
give
the
me the Patriots
Patriots.
Yeah,
Pat Riots.
Yeah. Saints, Panthers. I got the Saints going there. I want to see Derek Carr really shine this season because I've always respected him as a quarterback. Just didn't like him because he was a Raider. But I think the Saints is where he's going to rejuvenate this career.
Saint.
I know about the Saints as well.
Yes, picking the Saints. This is the Saints division for them to lose, so I got the Saints in this one.
Give me the Panthers. Saints are on the road, out of the dome. I'll take the Panthers. It's kind of a similar thing I have with the Seahawks. Seahawks aren't at home. Give me whoever they're playing. So I'll take Panthers.
Okay.
All right. I respect that. Browns, Steelers, Naro. This is your shit right here. We got
There
right
you
there.
go. There you go. Terrible towel.
Is that
time.
toilet paper? What is that?
This is the most respected towel in the league, sir.
Oh, that's a terrible towel for sure.
Did you wipe Jerome Bettis' ass with that shit? And oh,
Hey, you love it.
Bettis ass juice on your head. There you go.
Yes.
I'm a rock with Naro though. I'm gonna go with Steelers in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good Steelers too.
Steelers definitely going to take this game. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show. Anything you guys want to add on to week 2 that we missed before we let this go?
I haven't seen many ref fighting going on in week 1, which is kind of surprising. So
That is true.
let's see how the refs do in week 2. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah. I just not a lot of questionable calls in week 1. So yeah, let's hope they keep it up in week 2.
All right. Well, this wraps up our week 1 coverage for the football season with Cave Sports. So before I let everyone go for tonight, just want to plug in and tell you guys that to keep in touch with us on our website, go to k4v3.com. Again, that's k4v3.com. You can find our Discord and all our social media on there. Also, we have merch coming up on there, so make sure you're staying up to date with that. We're on Twitter, Spotify for the podcast, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We on everything. So you can find us by just searching us, K4V3. And so to wrap this up, we have legit Naro with his terrible towel on his. We got Feel the Burn, and we got Francis. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you next week, and we definitely have a lot more to talk about. I'm sure every week is something new. We're definitely going to see how accurate Francis' picks were. Zach obviously is pretty close with his analysis, so I'm hoping to see that translate into the results of these games. And Naro, I hope your Steelers get that win against the Browns. That should be a gifted win for you guys. So that's it for tonight. I'm Proper, or you can call me Jermaine. That's what everyone else calls me. We're out. Catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
My internet's like Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, bro, just
victory.
ruptured. This is ridiculous.